And we're on.
Hi, I'm Jack.
I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Lauren.
And we are Glib Shark. We're recording this actually on July 12th, 2016, a mere 2 days before Bastille Day. We're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff. Pokemon Go is on the top of my list, but before we get into all of that, we have the lovely, the talented, the amazing Obo Crazy here to do a little something that we call This Week in Geek. How are you, Lauren?
Well, Pokemon Go is on the top of my list, too. Not because I'm playing it, but because it's everywhere, and thus, most of my This Week in Geek is Pokemon Go. Yeah, unless you've been living under a rock, you know about Pokemon Go. It's the game that has everybody who never knew what a Pikachu was suddenly asking about Pokeballs and fun things. Due to the app's success, not only are friends and family members of yours probably asking you questions that you never thought that you'd have to answer as a gamer, Hollywood has once again begun chasing a live-action version of Pokemon, because the previous ones have worked so well. According to Deadline, though several film studios have pursued a live-action version of the popular franchise in the past, everyone cooled off a little while ago. But, Pokemon Go is kind of a little successful. And so Legendary Pictures, who recently released Warcraft, is said to be in the lead to acquire the rights. Whether or not a live-action Pokemon movie would focus on the mechanics of Go would be up to whether the screenwriter actually wants to do anything about that. At least Hollywood is jumping on this at the height of the craze instead of, several years afterwards. Now, other people jumping on the Pokemon craze are hoping to cash in literally a bit sooner. Do you like Pokemon Go, but do you hate exercise? Do you really want to go catch them all, but you don't want to have to walk? Well, some entrepreneurs have the solution for you. If you live in the right city, you can get a personal Pokemon Go driver. That's right. For just $20 to $25 per hour, a driver will now chauffeur you around many cities to play Pokemon Go. Cities like New York, Portland, and Baltimore. Ads are slowly cropping up around the country, most of them on Craigslist, because Craigslist is where you can pretty much find anything, as the augmented reality game catches fire and people find out that they actually have to go outside and exercise if they want to play the game. Some drivers are even including perks like free snacks, phone chargers, and Wi-Fi. For example, if you happen to live in Portland, you can find, quote, for sale, rides for Pokemon Go. I will drive you around Portland metro area while you play Pokemon Go. Rides will include snacks and beverages. $30 per person, includes 2 hours of driving around all the Pokestops and gym trainers, end quote. Now, that's just in Portland, where people are more likely to actually want to get exercise. The ads for New York City are a little more involved and kind of fun. From one ad on Craigslist in New York, quote, don't want to walk, especially in the heat, humidity, and rain, for a bunch of KMs to hatch your eggs? Visit Pokestops, go to gyms, or get items? Looking for Pokemon that don't reside where you do? Let's make your Pokemon Go experience more safe and comfortable. I am driving around the tri-state area for Pokemon. I'm open to all farm routes and am available day and night. That's right. 2 a.m. You can get yourself a Pokemon driver. There's also been ads that are popping up in Baltimore, in Phoenix. Basically, check your local Craigslist for opportune people looking to make a few dollars because you're too lazy to just walk. Just go walk, people. Really, just go walk. But hey, if it gets some people money, why not? Moving away from Pokemon for a little bit, but not really. See, I'm kind of doing a theme. We're doing Pokemon, and now we're going to talk about Ewoks, which are kind of like Star Wars Pokemon. Now, if you're a fan of Ewoks, and I know you are, because you're a geek like me, you're probably wondering, hey, after Return of the Jedi, whatever happened to the Ewoks? Okay, maybe you've never actually wondered that. Maybe it was just me. We haven't heard anything about the Ewoks in the expanded universe or in the new movies just yet, and maybe you don't care. Or maybe you're like Chuck Wendig, who wrote about the Ewoks in his new novel Aftermath, Life Debt. It's out today, and if you would like a small, tiny little spoiler for the book, or if you don't want a tiny little spoiler, skip ahead about a minute. it's not really going to spoil anything about the book. I'm just going to tell you what happened with the Ewoks because, see, there's a point in the book in where one of the characters is offered a therapy droid. The droid is kind of described as a clunkier version of BB-8. This droid is offered by a medical professional as a therapy droid for somebody who has injured their leg. And when they're not too keen on the idea, the doctor says, quote, "I could put you in for a therapy Ewok instead. Some of the native Ender creatures have agreed to travel off-world to help veterans like you recuperate as a matter of recompense for saving their home." And the character who's being offered the chance for a therapy Ewok says, quote, "Oh yeah, I don't want one of those. They smell horrible." End quote. That's right. You thought they were cute and cuddly, and now they're dogs. That's all for This Week in Geek. I'm Obo Crazy, and I want to catch all the Ewoks.
Don't we all? You know, the world is indeed a strange place, if you didn't know that already. If you have a fact that you want read live and on the air, you can send it to Lauren at obocrazy.com. And while you're at it, visit our website, glibshark.com, full of past episodes of classic late night Jenga Jam episodes, like the one where we interviewed Harto, aka Hannah Hart, or all-time buttcasts, or modern Glibshark, or if you're feeling particularly daring, our newest and latest greatest craze, Dungeons and Dragons and Drunks. Glibshark.com, the house of all of our content. But I guess I want to get into some of this Pokemon stuff. Although we should talk about RTX a little bit, shouldn't we?
We should talk about RTX. We should talk about Pokemon. We should talk about Game of Thrones. We should talk. Yeah.
We have a whole laundry list of stuff. It's going to be a very busy episode.
I would actually let's put the. I don't mind talking about Pokemon during This Week in Geek because it is very news relevant. Let's hold off on Pokemon until next week, especially as we see whether this thing lasts more than just a couple of days. Let's talk about RTX.
Okay, Jigglypuff, return. All right, RTX. We're in RTX mode now. How much fun was that trip?
It was so much fun. I am exhausted. I'm still exhausted, and it's been a week.
I think this is the first time that all three members of Glibshark proper were under the same roof for RTX.
As far as accommodations,
living
yes.
conditions, yeah.
Yeah. But it wasn't just the three of us. I mean, there were like 9 of us. It was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, the condo thing has really taken off, and I can think of at least 5 other condos that had our friends in it that were in and around that same area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for the price, it is the same price, if not less, than getting a hotel room for that weekend, especially with it being 4th of July. And you have access to a full kitchen. And this is just amazing, in my opinion, you have access to laundry facilities. You have a washer and a dryer in the condo.
And a kitchen and a pool not too far away.
Yeah, being able to not have to worry about bringing a weekend worth of clothes, plus a nice outfit for the side quest charity auction, plus as a girl, you got to bring extra clothes because you just have to bring extra clothes. I can just bring some clothes and I can just do a load of laundry and be absolutely fine. Or, you know, if I go outside and it's 300 degrees and I turn into a ball of sweat, I can just launder those clothes and wear them again. It's great. I love it so much. It's totally worth it just for the laundry. But we should talk about other things other than laundry.
We should talk about the 2 very successful panels we launched at RTX.
Yeah. So the Glibshark panel, I think it was one of the best attended panels that we've had in the several years we've been doing that panel.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I think this was also the least amount of stuff we've had prepared for a panel. We usually have a lot more prepared video and audio stuff, and besides the bloopers, I think we just talked for basically the whole hour.
So I'm understanding is the less we prepare, the more people come to our panel.
It seems that way, and we actually I got some pretty positive feedback about the panel in general. I think that's the way to go forward. I mean, I love doing the videos and stuff, but honestly, people come to the panel to see us, to see our banter and our rapport, and to play our drinking game. I thought the drinking game this year went off really well.
Definitely.
And I got to drink copious amounts of alcohol, so that's always a good time.
Oh my God, thank you. We cannot thank
Spam Man
enough.
Yeah, Chris, thanks a lot, man.
for keeping the Glib Shark fueled, as it were.
Keep the gears of the Glib Shark oiled, as it.
And
as
the
one would
thing is,
say.
it's not like he just showed up to our panels and dropped off moonshine. He did that, and then he would drop by our condo. We would run into him. He's like, "Here, take this," and it was just phenomenal. Plus, from what
It's dangerous to go alone. Take
this.
Yeah.
So I listened to the off-topic panel, the live thing that they had, and someone gave them peach moonshine. Ooh. Now, from the way they described it, it was very sweet, and they had to pay people to drink it. Like they gave Ashley Shoemaker, I think is her name, one of the accountants at RT, who in a previous off-topic had drank a rum-filled punch bowl and finished it for like $200 or something. She drank a thing of this peach moonshine for like $400 or something.
Wow.
But here's the thing. You didn't have to pay us a dime to drink Spam Man stuff because
we'll drink your booze for free.
It was so fucking smooth. It was by far some of the best tasting alcohol I've ever had.
Yeah, it was delicious. You couldn't even taste it. It just tasted so sweet and perfect. It's like Travancore's power food in liquid form.
And Jonathan, were you the one that brought the copper mug?
I did bring copper mugs, yes.
Okay, because I'll say this. Yes, his stuff was delicious, but also drinking out of that copper mug made me feel like a badass.
I also want to thank some of the other people that provided alcohol. Of course, friend of the show, Izzy. Who else?
Goubet, man.
Goubet, yes.
That was during the D&D panel, though.
Yeah.
Proper. But definitely, honorable mention to anyone who gave us booze.
Yeah, it was. Thank you guys for keeping us going there because well lubricated. Yeah, just the whole weekend. It was a very strange RTX. Yes. I would rank it just below the first one, but above the rest because, and oddly enough, this was I think the weekend that I personally did the least RTX stuff.
Same. I think like a whole day I was off the grid. For
I think we can say we were at Schlederbaum at this point. People know.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, wait, water park redacted.
But no, that was fun. Getting to go off an adventure, kind of off campus, as it were. But even when we were still in Austin, I mean, we were doing stuff like, oh, hey, we've got some time to kill. Let's go dip in the pool. And then, hey, random pool party. It was funny. Like that one pool party that we went to that was at night. I did notice a lot of the girls, like a lot of them were trying to keep their hair dry to varying levels of success.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the wrong woman to talk to about hair in general. However, I do know for a fact, depending on how your hair is treated and what your plans are for it, chlorine-filled water is not necessarily a good idea. So I could totally understand why there would be some women who are just like, I'm totally going to get in this pool as long as my hair stays dry. Because chlorine is bad. Well, chlorine is bad for everybody, but for me, I don't really have any hair, and I don't give 10 fucks. And I'll just go in a shower and wash, and it'll be okay. But if you actually put time and effort into your hair, like a lot of other people, that could be a problem. I do wish I'd been able to go to more of the after or outside of RTX event stuff that you guys were going to. Fortunately. And I do say fortunately because it was a bummer last year when Luke wasn't there. But this year, Luke was back. So I spent a significant amount of time, although not as much as our good friend Jose, at his booth, helping out with doing that. I also did a lot of walking the convention floor with various people, chatting with them, and then also promoting Luke's booth. Because Luke wasn't there last year and because his booth was under the name Button Mash, since that's the company he publishes under, there were a lot of people who actually didn't know he was at RTX. So I spent a lot of time being like, yes, Luke is here. Go see him at this booth. So but it was a ton of fun to be able to see everybody. The charity event went really well. We were able to raise $250 for Child's Play for D&D, and I got semi-intoxicated and had some really good. I was actually really impressed with the food this year at the charity event.
I don't think I had any of the food. I just pretty much had booze, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I know last year we kind of got some like Destiny pictures, like of the different people that I play with, and we sort of wanted to do the same thing with Overwatch, get some Overwatch team picks, but we didn't get to. Fortunately, though, we did run into one of our friends, Mitch, on the street, and we got to take a Flawless Raider pick with him. So that it was the first time that all four people who I had earned Flawless Raider with were in the same place at the same time. So getting that pick outside of Buffalo Billiards was really cool. In fact, let me throw it up on the stream here. The picture that's up on the stream right now is actually from the Wednesday before RTX. A bunch of people were already in town, and we kind of accidentally...
Not accidentally.
We sort of accidentally conquered the Chupacabra.
My favorite part about this picture, and John was the one who actually had to point it out, he looks so bored. And I know he's not. Like, he is the center frame of this picture, and I know he's just intently listening because it got super loud, but the picture makes him look like there's all this partying going around him or on around him, and he's just, oh.
Also, how excited is it that I got to celebrate my birthday, the Chupacabra?
I know, right?
It's a dangerous thing when I combine a birthday with an internet gathering. The last time that happened, it was 2008 in Toronto, and it did not end well. But I learned my lesson. I decided I'm going to have one really powerful drink and nurse that throughout the evening so that I stay out of trouble. And sure enough, my Manhattan got me through the entire night. And thanks to everyone.
People kept trying to foist drinks off on you.
And I said, I'm good. I'm just nursing my drink now. And I guess that's what growing up is. So thank you to everyone who came out for my little impromptu birthday bash. And thanks to Jonathan for covering that at the aforementioned Manhattan.
Yeah, sure thing. So the picture of the Flawless Raider team is up. And, of course, it's me, Izzy, Mitch, and Jones. And there were, like, this was a pretty emotional RTX for me. I'm not sure exactly why, but it just... a lot of stuff kind of like was brought up, and there was a little bit of drama with some friends, but in the end, everything was fine. The one night though, Friday night, we had all come back. We were all kind of hanging out at the condo, and I was feeling a little blue. I'm not sure exactly where it was coming from. Normally, I'm a pretty happy, exuberant drunk, but that night just it wasn't happening for me. So I actually got up and took a walk, and I went and just kind of walked around. I had actually meant to walk a lot further north, but I took a left onto 6th Street and just kind of wanted to kind of take in that energy, see if it would cheer me up. And who do I run into but Bernie Burns?
Dun, dun, dun.
And so we chatted a bit, and it actually it was good. Like we got to talk about some stuff, and it was kind of what I needed to hear at that point. So and fortunately at that point we were kind of going the same way. So I just went home and shown back up, and I got a nifty little souvenir from the whole experience. He gave me his Laser Team Challenge coin.
Very nice.
Oh yeah, I saw. I'm glad that you told the story then, because I think you tweeted it or you texted it. I remember seeing it in phone form, but I didn't know how you had gotten it. So I'm glad you're able to tell the story, because that's super cool.
Yeah, it was. I wish it had started under different circumstances, because it started with me not being in a great place, but it ended with me kind of appreciating what I had, and getting to recognize that I am very lucky, and I am very lucky to have not just Burns, but the other friends that I have, and that includes just about everyone I hung out with. So that was good. That was it was a very, very odd Friday night.
And I'll say this. That was another reason I was glad to have the condo with all those people, because more and more as I go to not just RTX, but any event, I go to see friends and I go to talk with people. And it is super hard to go to, you can't really go to a bar, because every bar I've ever been to wants to have the music up just so loud you can't hear anything. You can go to a restaurant, but, until when you stop eating food or stop drinking, at that point, you kind of want to leave. So having a shared space, and a large enough, comfortable enough space to be able to go hang out in and just chat with people and not have to worry, was such a relief. And I think both Friday and Saturday night, I didn't go to any events. Once I was done with whatever thing we were doing for the evening, both nights I ended up back at the condo just hanging out, chatting with people, drinking, eventually getting fairly intoxicated, one night getting a little too intoxicated, but really being able to just relax and talk with people and not have to be we're at an event or yelling over music or trying to get in someplace. I mean, I know there were people who were able to get into the VIP party and had a wonderful time, but the line for that thing was just ridiculous. And, just I really just kind of want to hang out with people.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I come to these things primarily to see like my extended community, my friends, the ones that I don't get to be in the same city as, the same state as, the same region as. And I think my trip this year really reflected that.
Yeah. I wish I'd been able to do a little bit more, but I was trying to be cautious about getting enough sleep, mostly because, I was helping Luke work the booth, but it was super nice, both because we were then going to be getting up to go work the booth, but also just to be able to lay down on a sumo and be like, hey, how you doing? How's it going? Have a drink. Have some food. Speaking of food, every year at RTX, I seem to go and find some place that everyone's like, hey, how come you've never eaten here? You should eat here. And last year it was Gus's Chicken. This year, it was a hot dog place, which I ended up going to twice, which was really, really good. And I was really happy to have found it because we used to have a local hot dog place here in Seattle called Podog, which did similar things except not on such a grand scale. It was a tiny little hole in the wall place that did gourmet hot dogs for a not gourmet price. And this place was the same way, except they had hot dogs made out of kangaroo and alligator and platypus and who knows what else. And that place was really, really good. I ended up going there twice. And I actually left Fido once to go to this place. And it's called Frank's, by the way. And yeah, 2 thumbs up, would eat Frank's again. Super happy. So next year, my goal is Frank's and Gus's Chicken. And we always have to do a trip to Ironworks. Eventually, I will eat at the Salt Lick. Eventually.
Yeah, this year it just wasn't a thing because of when 4th of July fell and Salt Lake is closed on 4th of July, which is why there was no side quest event at the Salt Lake. But what it did do is it made Sunday night a bit more interesting because I felt like you had to get your goodbyes in at the side quest lounge and then just the general hangout that was happening at the Buffalo Billiards. And so that made that a little bit more morose, but it was fun. We got to see Jeff Williams there. We got to see just a ton of people that I hadn't seen up to that point, and then got to kind of say goodbye. We said goodbyes on that Sunday night. I actually saw a bunch of people on Monday, and right now we'll come back to this picture because I love this picture of Noobs, but there is something else, and it is something that happened on Monday. I was pretty happy I got to show off to people who were still around the pool party on Monday because I got me a tattoo. I'm actually putting it in the stream over. I'll take it off as soon as I'm done talking about it. But this is the tattoo that I got on Monday, and I got to show it off to some of the TeamSpeak remnants that were still at the pool. It is a Destiny tattoo. It is a sword bear.
Oh, so cute! And congratulations on popping your tattoo cherry, by the way.
Thank you. I actually it was myself, Lori, our great friend Lori, Rocket John, and Izzy who actually went out to the tattoo parlor. Izzy didn't end up getting her tattoo, but it is something that she wants to do eventually. And it was going to be a bit similar to mine in that it was an obscure Destiny joke. But Lori actually also got her first tattoo there, a small little flame on her wrist. So her and I are tattoo cherry popping buddies.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And it is adorable.
Yeah, it's a bit sharper now. Now that it's healed up some, it still itches a little, but I feel like it's it's coming to the point where it's actually part of my skin and not just like a little bit of annoyance. But I wanted to throw that up there real quick, just since we were talking about that Monday and some of the stuff that didn't happen. I wanted to share some of the stuff that did.
And I totally would have gone to the tattoo place with you. I don't know if I would have gotten a tattoo, but I totally would have gone, except Luke and I had to leave on Sunday. We did get a pleasant surprise and get to hang out in the airport waiting for our flight with Nico, who was heading back on the same flight. So we got to hang out in the Austin airport with Nico, which, you know, if you've got to hang out in an airport, there's no better company than Nico.
I didn't get to see him much, but I did get to kiss him.
Aww.
Well, then that's all you really need, right?
And so I've never done the whole cheek to cheek like European kiss thing, and so I did that to Nico. It was kind of weird because he was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Okay, let's just do this because it's a thing." And he's got that kind of gruff, devil may care kind of stubble thing, and so that's the first time I've actually felt a man stubble on my cheek. Is that what I'm doing to the women that I kiss? Like, am I subjecting them to that sort of stubble?
Yes.
You know, I asked myself a similar question the first time I heard a pun directed in my way.
Yes. The answer to both of you is yes. For better or for worse.
Is that okay that's happening?
It totally depends on the woman and the circumstance.
Huh. All right.
The answer is going to be different for every single woman out there. Some women, and also it's going to depend on their relationship to you. You know, I'm pretty sure your wife probably enjoys it, or else she wouldn't have married you.
Yeah, or she would have said something. I would imagine it's been like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All three of us, I think, can turn to our significant others and know for a fact that when we kiss them, they must enjoy it because they're still here.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Luke? Oh, he's got a headset on. He can't. Oh.
Well.
He's got a headset on. He can't hear me.
Just set me up and say something horrible.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Speaking of Luke and saying something horrible. So I had to sit on his awesome artwork. And I'm not just talking about the characters that he drew for Dungeons and Dragons and Drunks, but he, in the last week or two before RTX, did a lot of work for me, basically, for us, that I couldn't talk about at all, which I felt really bad about to keep the suspense of what was going to happen at the game. But he drew the monster that you ended up fighting during the D&D game. And it was an original creation that I created the monster, and then he had to listen to me not only talk about this game and plan this game and edit this game and fret and tweak for weeks and weeks and weeks. He then had to play it in our home D&D game the week before, and then he had to draw the monster. And I have to say, it came out fucking amazing, and I kind of want to just post it everywhere.
You're damn right. Like it's my wallpaper for my phone right now. That monster.
Oh, seriously?
Yes, it is.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
That's how cool I love looking at it. And he just really knocked it out of the park, not just with that monster and the other ones on the side, but like the revised versions of our characters, where it's more based on who the characters are rather than just us dressed up as D&D people, which I really appreciate. I'm like, it's starting to see Travancore as a separate entity, and I like, that's what he looks like. I could see that. He's got that Egon Highway hair going on.
Well, it has essences of each of you without being you. Like, it's still clearly Jules's character, but you're right, it's a separate character. Bernie is completely separate. And I love the look on Shadow's face. He looks so regal.
He's the bear of a viceroy, so he should look regal.
I don't know, like I keep picturing Shadow in a myriad of different ways, but I just love the fact that he's kind of this just regal presence behind you, that picture. And then, of course, Jonathan has guns.
Yeah. just saying, like the whole like vibe of it reminds me of like the Gorillaz, the band from the early 2000s and such. Damon Album and what's his face, the other guy, the animated band. Everyone knows what Gorillaz are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So give me that vibe. Like I couldn't think like Shadow remind me a little bit of I guess 2D or maybe Russell or something like that. Like it felt like an album cover a little bit.
I'll make sure when that episode goes up next week, the Dungeons and Dragons and Drunks Twitter will definitely tweet out that picture. Probably not immediately, probably give everybody a day or two to listen to the episode so it's still a surprise, but I'll make sure that picture gets out there.
But
we should
let's talk about the panel a little bit itself.
Yeah. Did you guys have fun?
I love that it was an audience participation piece that the audience kind of saved Shadow. Like, spoiler warning, like like they kind of just they were vocal. I love that they had no problem shouting things out, probably because we're Dungeons and Dragons and Drunks, and we have to expect that at least some of the people pre-game the panel. I hope they did for their own amusement. I love that they were into it. They seemed to laugh at all the right points. I love that all the costumes, particularly Carlton, man. Like John went all out for his makeup and looked awesome, and he became Carlton Tanks.
Yeah, he looked amazing. Well, you all looked amazing. Like the stuff that you did was super awesome, and it definitely added some flair to the panel. And yeah, you're right. We had an awesome audience. I think we more than doubled the number of people who came to last year, and they were all it felt like they were having fun. I've recently had to re-listen to the audio from it as I prepped to put out that episode, and it's gratifying to hear audience reacting in the same way that I internally react a lot of the time to the shit that you guys do. Like, I feel bad as a DM that when you guys, like, I laugh when you make jokes and stuff, but a lot of the time you guys do stuff and it is up to me to not react because I don't want to give you guys the wrong impression. But like, to hear the audience laugh at your jokes or boo at the craziness or to cheer when things go well or to chant for Shadow to be healed, like it felt really good to stand there and watch that happen.
I had a lot of fun. It was. I had also pre-gamed before the panel. Thank you, Spam Man, again. And then I had the yard drink that I gave to you, and then I think at some point you pawned off on some poor audience member, and it was Steven, wasn't it?
Yes, and the only reason I did take a drink before I gave it to him, and honestly the only reason I did is because you could not put that thing down while it had drink in it. Like there was no way it had no base. So, and I had the one wireless microphone, and it was taking up my other hand, and I need that hand. So I was like, I'm gonna drink from this, and then I was just like, here, drink this. It was delicious, and thank you very much. I appreciate it, but I need stuff I could put down so I can roll dice.
Fine. I actually didn't finish mine, and every time I would drink it, since I was already a bit sloppy, I would kind of spill it all over myself. I didn't have it. Okay, so next year we need fucking paper towels for the panelists because I kept spilling shit all over me because I was a bit sloppy, and I just kept having to like wipe it on that stupid wizard costume that I was wearing.
And then who brought us donuts? I didn't even get one of the donuts. Who brought us donuts?
I don't fucking know. Like the donuts kind of came out of nowhere, and I was like, holy shit, donuts. And like at that point, I think I'd eat. I want to say I'd already had dinner, so I wasn't hungry, and my stomach was also full of alcohol. So, but they were super awesome. And if I had been like the least bit hungry, you would have seen a man tear into some donuts in a very undignified manner.
I didn't get a chance to have any either. Whoever you are, all I want to do is to thank you, even though I don't know who you are.
Yeah, even though I didn't have a donut, thank you, because that was amazing.
There was one in there that had like Lucky Charms on it. That's the one I wanted.
Oh God, they were. I watched Jules tear into one of those donuts, and I wish I could have had one of those donuts. Those looked amazing.
Please tweet at us and tell us who you are.
Yeah, so we can thank you. Even the panelists who didn't have a donut, we thank you. Also, thank you to you guys for the dice and the shirts and everything that we're able to give out. I love that we were able to throw out swag. That was a lot of fun. And not just like meaningless swag, like t-shirts and dice, useful shit.
Yeah, thank you to Noobs who really helped us. He let us know pretty early on that there was no fucking way we were going to reach the back, and I think during when we were warming up and we had some people in there, we were trying, but it wasn't working. And Noobs was, and I think a few other audience members did this too, but mainly I remember Noobs helping us out and getting stuff to the back part of the deal.
Yeah,
and go ahead.
I gotta throw a mention to John, aka that film guy, aka Carlton Tanks. He hustled like crazy, printing the shirts, doing the makeup, like talking about the thing pretty much constantly up until the actual D&D panels. So man, you're aces in my book. Thanks for promoting the show, man.
And he was wandering around the convention floor all day in costume, in makeup, with 2 D20s and a bag full of shirts, and tweeting out to people that if they basically did a roll off with him and won, they got a shirt. So that was a lot of great promotion. And if you listened to the podcast, the Rooster Teeth podcast that was recorded at RTX, so it was recorded on the Sunday. Our game was Saturday night. They actually gave us a shout out. Did you guys hear that?
I did, yeah.
It was very nice. And then, of course, when we thanked them, Bernie responded in the way only Bernie can, and we love him for it. So
you'll just have to check out our Twitter to see what he said.
Yep, you'll have to follow Dungeon Drunks and see. But yeah, if you listen to the Rooster Teeth podcast, it takes them a couple of tries to get to our name, and I think they just call us Dungeon Drunks. But you know what?
Well, no,
close enough.
What had happened were they were talking about, and when I saw Burns that weekend and at the RT office, he brought up the fact that they were trying to come up with a better name than Dungeons and Dragons and Drunks for their own D&D game. And so he on the it's the Sunday of RTX, so people are going to struggle with stuff. So he was struggling with our name, and it was Barbara who actually said the name Dungeons and Dragons and Drunks, which isn't surprising because Jules is a part of it and Steven is a big fan.
The fact that they even gave us a shout out is amazing, and the fact that it took them a little bit to get our name, I'm totally fine with. They eventually got to the name.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that he asked the audience, was anyone there? Did they have fun? And it sounded like a couple of the few hundred people who were at our game were also at that podcast.
Yeah, that was cool.
There was a nice response.
Yeah, that was neat. And it's awesome to just entertain people like that. And I know I got quite a few people coming up to like me at the Buffalo Billiards and stuff like that, saying, "Hey, you guys did great. It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do it again."
So much feedback right after the panel too. People I've never even seen or knew, like just sort of saying how much they enjoyed it, how much they liked Shadow and Travancore, and how much they laughed. And the opportunity to entertain people with this thing, it's so gratifying to be able to bring some joy into people's lives.
Yeah, it was neat staying after for a bit and talking to some of the audience who had questions, had comments. I'm pretty sure I signed a couple of badges. I don't know. I was pretty drunk.
I did. Oh, I definitely did. And I was 3 moonshines into it. So
God.
I was nice and toasted.
Okay, real talk. How much like how percentage wise, how much booze was in that fucking moonshine?
I don't know what the actual proof was or whatever, but it was pretty potent. Like
was this Spam Man's?
Yes. I am so impressed with myself that I did not puke. I am top aces, Jenga. Top aces.
If the stuff that so I'm gonna admit something. At the D&D panel, I actually had very little alcohol. I think I had a couple of the swigs of the Vuvuzela that you gave me, Jonathan. And I think I had like a shot of something, and that's it. The bottle that I had on the table, for those of you who are there, I had my Dungeons and Dragons water bottle, and it was filled with water, with a little bit of, I have one of those flavoring things, and that's it. And that was partially intentional because my job as a DM is to be the straight man in a lot of cases. So I needed to be the person to move things along. And I can only do so much of that if I'm intoxicated. And partially just for whatever reason, whenever people were offering up alcohol, they were bringing it to the players. And it just never quite, like the donuts, made it down to my side of the table. That's just fine, though. I'm not complaining. However, if the moonshine that he gave you guys was the same stuff that he gave us at the Glib Shark panel, which I had and got incredibly intoxicated very quickly off of, that stuff had to be like 150 proof.
Yeah, like I sometimes forget that I'm as big as I am, so I was just kind of downing that stuff like, hey, no problem. But like for the smaller folks that were with us, and especially for a lot of our girls, I can imagine that was quite stout.
Oh, it was so good. Yeah, Spam, I love you. Bring that with you everywhere.
Oh God, I felt sort of bad, like keeping asking for that stuff.
Why?
But it was just so good. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The bad feeling was quickly overwhelmed by drunk.
By that warm, glowing, warming glow that comes from drinking enough apple pie moonshine.
Oh, it was so good. And he kept coming by the Luke's booth and offering it there. And I know we were all feeling a little bad. Where at the booth, we were all kind of declining it there because, you know, we're working. And that, especially after I'd had it at the Glib Shark panel and gotten relatively quickly intoxicated, we were all being a little careful. Luke was, you know, hustling and bustling and doing a lot of drawing, and so he was trying to stay on his game. So, Spam, if you came by the booth and we all said no, it's not because we don't love you. It's not because it isn't delicious. It's because, oh my God, we need our wits, and that stuff makes us witless. But
Speaking of wits, I do have a picture that I'm going to move on from on the stream, but it was a group picture of our Escape the Room team, 10 Little Roosters. And the team consisted of Goober, Goober's wife, Sarah, Dop, Dop's girl, his wife, Keo, Steven, Jules, Izzy, and then myself and Jack. And that was definitely something where I specifically did not drink beforehand because I did want to keep my wits. We solved that thing really fucking fast.
I am super proud to be the one who was turning like the tumbler, like you know, the lock, and was able to unlock it pretty much at the very end. That was kind of my thing. I think I was the unlocker. I was the one who was like the fastest fingers in the West.
I don't feel like I helped on any one thing in particular. I think I kind of helped move a few things along. I know. I think the thing I helped with the most was the projector puzzle. That one was a lot of fun. And then I felt around. Well, I guess we should not spoil it if you're going to go and do the Austin Panic Room. I will say that was a puzzle requiring Braille, and I got to feel up some of the Braille, so that was fun. But yeah, super proud of our Escape the Room team, 10 Little Roosters. And the fact that we got now a picture of 10 Little Roosters is up on that wall for all to come and see. It was a very appropriate RTX team name.
What other things happened at RTX? I didn't get a chance to go to a lot of panels. I did go to a couple. I got to go to most of Nico and Miles and David's panel about the music at RT. I had to leave early because it was right before Dungeon Drunks, and that was a ton of fun, like always. I was especially happy at one point. Nico asked the crowd how in depth he could get with their details about the music, and the whole audience is just like, go hardcore music theory the crazy out of us. So thumbs up to that. I went to Matt's VIP / sponsor panel and got to hear him chat, and I didn't get a chance to ask a question because I wasn't fast enough. I was impressed with the panel in general. I think because of what it was and who was allowed to go, the quality of the questions was very high, and Matt didn't shy away from answering anything. Like there was no dancing around issues with any of his answers. I was a little disappointed at the turnout. It was maybe half-filled room, and I know it was only for VIPs or sponsors, but I would figure the vast majority of people going to RTX, that a good percentage of them must already be sponsors. And I was really disappointed that there weren't more people there to have that chance to ask Matt basically anything. But if you do get it, I don't know if they've posted it online, but it's a really good panel to listen to. Definitely go check it out.
I think is I was kind of wondering how they were going to do that, and I thought the addition of the first sticker on your badge was very clever. I thought that was neat. But I think what we're seeing, especially at RTX now, is a majority, like, even though these fans are I think the fandom is moving away from sponsorship. I think that's one of the reasons why they've kind of tried to reinvigorate it with this whole first business. I think another thing that the fandom is moving away from is community a bit. Like, I think back in the day, like, you would have had sponsors making an effort to get there. And I think, one, there wasn't that effort. I mean, I didn't try to go. I don't remember. Was it on Sunday?
No, it was Friday at 5:00. It was towards the end of the day.
We were stuck in a room, Jack.
Oh yeah.
No. Actually, no. We were not stuck in a room. We were getting ready to be stuck in a room.
That's right.
Oh, that's when you did the escape?
Yeah, we did it at 6, so at like 5-ish, we wouldn't have been able to go to the panel anyway. I think were we having dinner?
Where do I think Friday? Where do we go? Like Saturday, we did Max's wine dive, right?
Right, but what did we do? Because we did the sushi place right before the panel.
Like late lunch, yeah.
Right, and then after the panel, did we just go back to the condo?
We might have. Like, I know we did pool beer later on that evening.
Right.
We did. I know we did go back to the panel, to the condo after the panel, because I went with you there. And then that's where we split off, because then I went back to go check in with Luke, see how they were doing. And then I went to to Matt's panel before I met up with people for dinner. But yeah, I mean, so I can kind of see what you're saying. I'm still a little surprised, if only because, especially with a lot of long-term members who have been having issues with the site and who are having this crisis, my band is popular and I can't get backstage anymore moment on the Rooster Teeth site. I was kind of hoping more of those people would be there to finally be able to, this was one of the things I'd heard a lot of people on the website complaining about. I can't just ask Matt or Bernie or Joel or Gus or any of these guys. I can't just DM them anymore. I can't just post a journal and have one of them respond. I can't because my band is too popular. Well, this was one of those moments in where you could have gone to this panel and it was just Matt, and he opened it up to anything. And as I said, the people who were there and the quality of the questions were really high. Nobody was like, hey, the CEO of Rooster Teeth is here, and so I'm going to ask him if he likes ketchup or mustard, or gush about loving the site, or, you didn't get dumb questions. People actually were just like, hey, are you thinking about getting Laser Team translated into Japanese for the Japanese market? Are you going to be releasing Ruby in this way? Really very in-depth business-like questions that, for those of us who've been on the site for forever and a day, as I said, I don't know if they posted it or not because of the nature of the panel. I think they would have. Definitely go check it out. But if he does another one of these next year, or any of the original Rooster Teeth people, if they do another, hey, if you are a sponsor, come to this panel, only sponsors are allowed, or first members, whatever they're calling them, and we'll answer your questions, I'm gonna make not just an effort to go, but to organize a bunch of old time people to go, because one of the few questions and issues that was not brought up, and it would have been if I'd been able to get into the line fast enough, was the issues with the website.
And the thing I'll say to that is that I haven't been active on the website for a matter of years now. Like, I check out the content when I can. But as far as posting journals and posting in the forums and stuff like that, that hasn't been true of me for, I don't know, at least 3 or 4 years, maybe longer. And but at the same time, it sounds like it's kind of like the equivalent of a stockholders meeting, because in a way, like each of us longtime community members and sponsors, we're kind of like not legal stockholders, but we have something invested in this community, and we have it's cool that we have an audience to Matt. So if it works out where it's a time where I'm available, let me know for sure. I'll do what I can to show up.
So go ahead and finish your point there, Obo, because I do have something to say after that.
Well, I think I made my point. I did want to transition to asking you guys about this new first upper echelon membership, what you thought about it, and just basically what you thought about it.
I don't like it. I'm in no mood for another subscription box. I have one right now, and that's all I want. I don't get loot crates. I don't get Trunk Club or anything like that. All I get right now is Nature Box, and that stuff, it goes away on its own. Yeah, it goes away pretty quickly, so it's not like I'm just getting a bunch of junk. I guess if you like subscription boxes, there it is. But honestly, I think it's a little shady that they had a price increase after a price increase of, 6 months ago? And I think it's counterproductive to trying to bring people back to the site. I think if nothing else, if you want to try, I think they've pretty much given up on trying to get old people to come back. At least that's the impression that I'm getting. And if the new people aren't showing that kind of interest, where they would go to a exclusive panel with just Matt, that's telling.
Well, I don't know if those two can be linked, mostly because I think the people who Matt was asked at the panel, I'm a sponsor. What am I getting out of first? Out of the double gold. That's what it's called. What am I getting out of double gold that I'm not getting out of just being a sponsor or first? And Matt laid it out. He said it's basically you're getting sponsorship with a Rooster Teeth loot crate once a month. So if you want Rooster Teeth swag, this is the best way to get it. So I don't think they're targeting double gold at people who would necessarily, I don't think the Venn diagram of people who are going to go to Matt's panel to ask business questions and the people who want Rooster Teeth swag necessarily completely overlap.
I get that, but again, like, I'm not interested in another loot crate.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested in loot crate, and I guess there are people that are interested in that. I would presume, but I'm just not one of those.
I'm not a loot crate person because I like to know what I'm getting for my money. I was, for most of the weekend, very tempted by double gold because what I thought about it for a while. I'm like, well, because this is, if I'm going to get swag, Rooster Teeth stuff is still kind of the swag I want. And I was very, very, very tempted because especially lately as a sponsor, I've been enjoying getting some of the sponsor only videos. So
yeah,
I was like,
and the sponsor content has definitely, I will say that it has been improved.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking love being able to see Camp early. I fucking love Camp. Camp, I think, is one of the best shows to come out of Rooster Teeth in a long time. I know a lot of people are gushing over Day 5. I'm kind of have a middling opinion on it. I think it does some things really, really well, and other things it kind of drags out, which is not interesting. But Camp, I think, is the real deal. I fucking love that show.
I haven't had a chance to see Camp yet. I do really want to see Day 5. And at this point, I'm kind of at the point where I'm going to wait for the whole, I think it's 6 episodes, 8 episodes?
6 episodes.
Yeah. I think at this point, I just haven't had the time to sit down because those are full-on 45-minute episodes. I want to watch it super bad. What I did recently watch, which was a sponsor exclusive, is the first half of the documentary, the ASMR one that they did about going to see Baba.
Yeah, the world's greatest head massage.
Yeah. Part 1 is out, and I guess the second part is coming out shortly for sponsors, for first people, whatever we're calling ourselves. That was very cool. I really liked that. I like seeing that. That's a fucking professional documentary they're making, and that I really enjoyed.
It's cool. It's something that doesn't affect me. Like, I know people were like, "Oh, I was getting tingles through the first part," and I don't know. I didn't feel anything. It was kind of neat to watch people, I guess, feel something. But I think Gus actually mentioned when Bernie asked him, "Hey, does ASMR work for you?" He's like, "No," and I'm sort of the same way. Like, nothing in the video that they showed triggered me, I guess, and they had a lot of different samples of different ASMR triggers.
We should get into ASMR more in depth than it. Yeah,
Later.
but I will say I have felt ASMR, but it has been the exact opposite of what they talk about, and it's never been with any of the ASMR videos. I get tingles and chills when I'm playing or listening to really good classical music. The difference for me, and this is why I don't think it's ASMR, everybody describes ASMR as you get these tingles and the chills and the feeling in the scalp and all of that stuff, and then they feel really relaxed. For me, it's an energizing feeling. When I listen to an amazing piece of music, I suddenly, it's like drinking a shot of caffeine. It's great. Glouden is in our chat and actually mentions theater mode, which I have been enjoying. I was super skeptical about it at first because I'm a huge Mystery Science Theater 3000 fan, and my initial response was, this is just ripping off MSD3K. But I think who they have on in general, their approach to it is different enough. And I don't get to see a lot of the stuff that Michael and Jeff and Jack do, because I don't watch a lot of the Achievement Hunter stuff. And I think all three of them are super funny. So
yeah,
I do agree.
So far. I still think I've watched like I think the first two, and I want to say I still liked Thanks Killing the best just because it was so fucking ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
I'll be interested to see the rest. I thought it was cool that they did an event with the director of the film they were watching at the Draft House. I think that was Saturday night.
Yeah, and those tickets sold out super fast, I heard. I will say this, if you guys watched, I don't remember which episode it was, but the movie that they watched is Chill. That movie was filmed on the Akron, Ohio University campus, which I know for a fact because that's where I went to school for 2 years.
I was about to say that's one of the places you went.
That is. So that was an interesting movie to watch. Cycling back super fast. What made me decide not to get double gold was that I took $40 and I went to the store to see if there was anything I wanted to buy at the RT store while I was in RTX. And there were a few things I wanted to get. But at that moment, with $40 in my pocket, there was nothing I really wanted to spend that money on. And that's what made me decide not to get double gold. Because if I can walk around the store with money to burn and only see maybe one or two things that I wanted and still not get anything, I probably would not get a lot of use out of even a Rooster Teeth Loot Crate. Yeah. But I will continue to sponsor because of the content. Jenga, you haven't had a chance to jump in on this topic. What do you think about double gold?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm not in a position right now where I'm able to jump on anything other than what I already have. If that changes, I'll look at it. And, if it's just disposable income, maybe I'll look into it. Like a loot crate from Rooster Teeth actually seems like a good idea. Like, seems like something I'd be into. But financially, right now, I'm just not in a place right now where I'm able to make that happen. But maybe sometime in the future.
And I will say the only other thing that is appealing, not for me personally, but I could see as appealing, if you're a double gold member, you get first crack at VIP tickets for all of their events, which, considering how quickly those things sell out, I could see somebody deciding to get double gold just so that they could have first crack at VIP tickets to RTX.
Right.
Yeah. Anything else RTX we want to talk about?
No, it was super fun. And
yeah.
Our group of friends has already started planning for next year. So we're getting all those things worked out.
And this is how excited I am of RTX. I'm planning a trip to India next year, and I'm still trying to make it happen. So stay tuned on that. If nothing else, I can come for the weekend itself. But I want to be there for a lot longer, if at all possible.
I will say it was nice, and I'm very, very lucky to be able to go to Austin like a week before and stay a week after, because there were some things that you just couldn't get. Like I got to visit the office and watch the RT podcast. I got to have a barbecue and run into a lot of friends. And that really was the big thing, is the other opportunities to run into friends and see people that I normally didn't see. Like Tiff. I didn't see Tiff except outside RTX. She never actually made it downtown, which...
Yeah, I saw her at the charity panel. That's about it.
Yep.
Well, and next year RTX is not 4th of July. I mean, 4th of July is on a Tuesday next year, but it's like a week. RTX is a week later, I want to say.
After. I think it's the 7th through the 9th.
Which means Luke and I might actually be able to stay for longer next time, because it won't be over 4th of July weekend. And the first week of the month is always kind of a crazy time. So hopefully next year we will also be able to stay for a little bit longer and do some of those fun things with people outside of the convention.
I'm actually going to circle back around to a picture that I had up. There we go. The Booze Cruise. We didn't talk about the Booze Cruise.
Oh, yes.
And how fucking fun that was.
The Booze Cruise is amazing. Props to Amanda and everyone who helped out and it came out for that thing. I feel like it's really kind of the perfect starting event for RTX, where you go there, you hang out with your friends, you get to float on the river and sing songs to people and drink and just have a good time. I even saw some people playing D&D, Kenny and all them.
Yeah, I saw that. And it was cool because normally it's this core group of friends, but since we got a bigger boat, we kind of had to expand the audience a bit, and we totally got to have some new friends. And there were people who wouldn't have known about the event, but they saw some of us tweeting about it and then bought tickets, and it was super awesome. It was a lot of fun.
We covered a little bit. I'm sure there's stuff we missed. If you think of something that you liked about RTX, you can hit us up at GlibShark, or individually. I'm at Jack Edithil. He's at Road_block. She's at Oboe Crazy. Oboe is in the instrument. Crazy is in the state of mind. But our sound producer is Jonathan Double Gold Cerna.
I usually have, for those just tuning in and have never really heard the show before, this is usually where I say something witty, like fuck Crispin apple cider, because it's the worst.
Wow, so petty.
That's less witty and more just mean.
I'm a jerk.
The nice thing about Bob Ball, our voice actor and announcer, is that he can't say anything back, even though he is, because he's not on the podcast right now. Linnea Boyev does our music. And on behalf of Lauren Urban, Jonathan Cerna, and myself, I'm Jack Edithil saying good night, good health, and stay Sharkpedo, my friends.